Recently, things have been kinda crazy in the world of Magic the Gathering, which makes for some interesting conversation. But for me, the most interesting thing that's going on overall right now is the unfolding developments with the Commander Legends Fiasco. And by that I mean someone has stolen Commander Legends product, and I have more updates on the story. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. We are here to talk about the current status of the Commander Legends Fiasco. Honestly, it's a pretty fascinating development. Now, before we get into that, I just want to take a moment to say two things. One, thanks to all the people who have been reaching out to me recently with little snippets of what's going on in the Magic world. I'm used to people reaching out to me with information, but it feels like that's moved up a level, and I genuinely appreciate you guys keeping me clued into this, because I'm going to let you know, there's so much going on in the world of Magic that it's very difficult, even for somebody who's trying to constantly pay attention, to keep up with everything that's going on. So thank you very much to all of you who have taken the additional step out of your day to say, hey, here's some information that might help you for a video. I know I don't always use it, but I do always appreciate it. And the other thing I wanted to mention real quick is that the Hatcher channel has been essentially reignited as a random channel, but right now the first video over there is a Zendikar Rising welcome booster opening. So if you want to see what the Zendikar Rising boosters look like, go and check that out. Now that that's out of the way, let us talk about the meat. Let us sink our teeth into this meaty steak. So we're going to talk about the Commander Legends theft scenario, which it 100% is. At this point, Wizards of the Coast is involved. It is very clear that this is originally what I thought happened, and I was 100% wrong, is I thought that this product was an early release. Because it was in German, what I actually thought had happened was this product had been delivered to some small out-of-the-way shop or something like that, accidentally ahead of time. I just thought it was like a, hey, we got the cards, you know, we're going to do something with them scenario. But it turns out that it's a far crazier situation. You know, if you've been paying attention to the story, you will know that it turns out that the cards actually came from a production facility in Texas. So instead of it being a shipping error, it was actually underhanded, illegal maneuvering by an employee. That's how I reported it previously, right? We talked about how an employee was able, was able to abscond. And that means to run away with, to thievious, whatever term you want to use. This dude was essentially able to take a whole bunch of product. Now, by a whole bunch of product, I don't mean he had like a transport truck full of all kinds of boxes of Magic the Gathering, but he was able to get almost, as far as I understand it, there's different numbers floating around, but almost a full booster box, I should say, worth of booster packs on top of a ton of singles, including huge stacks of 2 different mythic rare planeswalkers. So this fellow was able to get all of this out, right? The story's been slowly unfolding as the spoilers were released. This dude basically, the person who originally got this stuff wasn't particularly interested in like doing spoilers, right? We've had multiple stages of this. So the first wave was just when somebody basically noticed, wait a minute, Commander Legends is on sale on eBay. So this dude took the stuff from the production facility and listed it on eBay in a really obvious manner. To me, this whole plan seems like it's not well thought out, probably because they don't understand just how rabid Magic players are about finding new information. I mean, people have gone to such crazy lengths that they will find these like back alley listings from crazy distributors or wherever else and like extrapolate all kinds of information from 1 or 2 words. Honestly, the Magic community, when it comes to finding like spoilers, they're like truffle pigs. You know what I'm talking about? Those pigs that they take out and they make them sniff around looking for them expensive truffles. That's what it's like. So this guy probably had no idea that everybody was going to like descend upon this instantaneously. But that's what happened. I mean, all it takes is word getting out to a couple Magic players, and all of a sudden you're going to find it on Reddit. You're going to find it on Facebook. You're going to find different websites talking about it. You're going to find people like me talking about it. So the information got spread around. This guy was initially just looking to sell stuff. Now, there are other people involved in this story. There's the one of the guys who, as far as I understand, wasn't the original person who took the cards. He's not the one who made the eBay listing. He was actually way more interested in the hype and celebration that comes along with spoiling cards for the community. That's what it feels like to me. I can't 100% say exactly who's involved, but it appears that somebody who was more of a Magic enthusiast. Like, from my perspective, the guy who worked at the printing facility may not have even been a Magic player or a Magic fan, but he was aware that this product at least had some value and decided to take off with it, right? But the person who got their hands on the stuff afterwards seemed very interested in sharing spoilers, and I believe shared over 100 cards. And I mean, I can understand that. It makes when this kind of thing happens, it's almost like creating a mini celebrity status, where all of a sudden somebody who normally doesn't get attention in the Magic community, and this guy, who knows, maybe this guy does, I'm just speaking in generalities, but all of a sudden there's a ton of people who want to talk to you, you've got all this attention, and you're doing something that feels good in terms of you're making a bunch of people happy, right? And unfortunately, you're doing it with stolen corporate property. Now, that does not end well for people, right? I mean, this is actively being pursued. I got an update today talking about how Wizards had reached out to the individual that the card, like, basically, I have my sources. Now, I'm going to remove particular elements of what I've been told simply because then there's no way to identify who this individual is. You know what I mean? So this person told me that Wizards has reached out to the individual that they purchased cards from as far as the second listing that was made of these products, because there was 2 listings made, one, as far as I understand, for boosters and one for singles. That's how it looks like it breaks down to me. So Wizards has reached out to the individual that was selling these cards and basically told them that this has been deemed stolen property. So Wizards has given them a couple of different options. One option is to return everything. If they return everything, then Wizards of the Coast won't take any further action. Which, in all honesty, I mean, if the person selling this stuff is just being told, send it back and we're not going to do anything, then okay. But I feel like this might be not that kind of a scenario. This might be like a further step where it's maybe not actually listed by the guy who originally took the stuff, because it's turning out that there are multiple people acting in this. There's at least 2 people from what I'm being told. What does it say here? Basically, there's 2 different people, and the one individual was assumed to help get the other one. Like, one person took the stuff out of the facility, but there's like a conspirator who helped assist in the process, as far as I understand. That's how it appears to me. I'm not 100% if I'm reading this incorrectly or whatever, right? I mean, without official information from Wizards of the Coast and all the people involved, it's kind of cryptically putting puzzle pieces together. But it appears like there's actually 2 people who are involved in this. You have the guy who took off with the stuff and the guy who helped him do it. So I don't know if that could be somebody along the lines of somebody who could tamper with, let's say, security cameras. I don't know if that's somebody instead who does like quality checks. You know what I mean? Like, there are people who work at like Subways or whatever else like that, and they will make themselves a sub and then just like write it off as waste. And you know what I mean? Like, they have the ability to just write down, drop the sub bun on the floor, right? And then the company will write that off and they can use that sub bun to make their own sub. Now, technically that's stealing from the company, right? I'm not saying it's legal. I'm just trying to give you an example of the kind of scenario that I'm talking about. It could be the same thing with the QA, where this guy could have worked in quality and basically he signs off saying like X amount of German Commander Legends products had to be destroyed because they were defective, right? Just like put that in the log, and as long as everything goes normal, you can take that stuff out of the production facility. Who knows? Maybe, and again, totally hypothetical, right? Just constructing something here in my mind. Maybe they have a box where all the stuff that gets destroyed goes. So they just dump it all in that box. And this guy went ahead and dumped some sealed packs of Legends in there, or Commander Legends, I should say, and all the, not the original Legends, and all the extra cards, just kind of put them in the box, like these are going to be destroyed. And then with the help of the other guy cloaking what was going on, just whatever, just left the facility with them. Or maybe the QA guy was like, I will take these to where they're supposed to be destroyed, but I'll leave you for you to grab the box. Like, I don't know what the accomplice level is, but that is the information that's being provided to me. So this is being pursued, like, as far as I understand, further down the chain. So Wizards of the Coast has directly contacted the people making these sales saying, you have our goods, return them to us, or we will pursue full legal action. But on top of that, there's an extra layer where eBay is also contacting anybody who successfully did a transaction and purchased these products to try and track them down as well. So basically, what they're doing is they're following it all the way down the chain. So the initial post is listed, Wizards of the Coast responds to that, eBay goes through its records and contacts every single purchaser who conducted a transaction successfully with this individual, saying, we need these products returned, and on top of that, if you no longer have the product, we require that you tell us who you sold it to. So they're tracing the chain all the way down. And I imagine what most likely will occur, again, I have no legal expertise, clearly, right? I even need to say that, but whatever, it's YouTube, it's better to throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? Better safe, say it than sorry, right? So it's a situation where probably what's going to happen, in my opinion, is that eBay is going to build up this list of where all the products went and turn around and basically hand it over to Wizards and say, okay, you've said that this is stolen product. You've proved it to us. Obviously, the fact that eBay is taking steps to follow up means that eBay has been convinced this is stolen property, right? So eBay is most likely going to turn this list over to Wizards of the Coast afterwards, at which point Wizards of the Coast will probably contact each of the people as well, or their legal department will, saying, you are in possession of like stolen corporate property. You have two options. You can either return it to us, or we can try and take you to court over it. But it also might depend on how much was sold. Like, I don't know how much their lawyer's time is worth, so I don't know how much it's worth it to pay their lawyers. Like, let's say somebody bought one single for like $3, right? Then you're like, is it worth it to pay your employees, like your lawyers who cost crazy amount of money? Is it worth it to pay them to pursue it, is a question. And also the other question I have, because I don't understand the way the legal system works, is, do you have to? Like, does Wizards of the Coast even have the ability to say, well, we're going to try and pursue this stolen property, but that stolen property is so insignificant that we're not going to? Or does that have some kind of ramifications that invalidates the whole thing, where it's like either you have to care about all of it or care about none of it? So that's an interesting question to see the way it would shake out. And I'm really curious as to how many people are involved in this, because as I said, there was a bunch of booster packs stolen, almost a booster box's worth, right? You can only sell those to like however many people. They're being bought in bunches. It's very unlikely that each pack was sold individually, right? Somebody who's going to want to buy those is probably going to be like, I'll take all you have, or I'll take half of them, or whatever. But at the same time, you had a stack like that thick of Jessica's and who was the other one? Tavish Zod, right? And they were being sold as a pair. So one of each. Remember, a stack, I would say anywhere from 40 to 60 of these cards, although I may be off on that because the stack was kind of side slid. But either way, there's a crazy amount of these. And one of each of these Planeswalkers sells together for $60. So that's $30 a card, $60 altogether, and probably enough there to do 40 to 60 transactions. And I mean, even if somebody's buying play sets of those, if there's 60 of each of those, that's at least 15 different people who they have to trace and track down and try and reacquire these cards. And so I'm genuinely curious to see what the end result of this is going to be. I assume that because of the level of attention that what's going on has been given and the reach of it all, that Wizards of the Coast will give us an announcement similar to the one they did when the Ixalan uncut sheet was taken, right? There was like one sheet taken from a production facility, one or two sheets at most taken, and that got us like a full-on press announcement. So I am hopeful that we will get a little bit more information, although Wizards will most likely be pretty tight-lipped about this. So at the end of the day, it looks like two people worked in conjunction to smuggle this stuff out of the production facility before it was even ready for shipment. Wizards of the Coast is fully aware of it, has its legal team working on it, and is going to pull all of their property back to themselves. I wonder if they'll be able to manage to get it all back, or at least have it in transit by the time Commander Legends releases on November 20th. Although, to be fair, we may actually be dealing with a situation where they even push the launch of the Commander Legends back, because we've seen that a bunch of times. But either way, it's a fascinating story. We don't see things like this happening normally, right? You don't normally get, I'm gonna be real, it's a spectacle. While I don't condone the thievious activity, stealing it's not a good thing to do. It's a criminal act. Taking things that aren't yours isn't right. I do not stand behind that. However, I do like interesting things going on. You know what I mean? I'll be real. With what's going on in the world, we're all stuck at home. There's not as much going on out in like the normal everyday world. So a little bit of spectacle is appreciated, and digging into this story has been enjoyable from the fascination perspective. Although once again, I do not condone the activities taken by the individual who's actually stolen from Wizards, right? It's not like I want to see Wizards have things stolen from them, but I certainly do like having interesting stories to talk about. So, let me know your thoughts on everything that's going down, my friends. And you know what? If you're somebody who has information about what's going on in the world of Magic, by all means, hit me up. I'm happy to talk about it, all right? If you like what I'm doing here, like, comment, subscribe. It's all fantastic for the channel. If you love what I'm doing, jump on my Patreon. Maybe then I can buy some cards I shouldn't on eBay. I wouldn't even anyways, man, especially after seeing what's happened here. This one takeaway from this is, if you see stolen Magic cards or stuff, like, even if you don't know it's stolen and you see something like mega early release available on eBay, understand that most likely all that's going to happen is you're going to lose your money and time, right? Because if you bought these singles and Wizards contacts you and says, send them on back or we're coming after you legally, you can't say anything to Wizards. You can't be like, well, we spent money on this. It's like, you're out that money. You can go after the guy who stole the stuff and ripped you off, but it's not our problem, right? So you put your money at risk, and you risk getting involved in legal entanglements for nothing. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? Like, to have the cards a month early and not even in English. I get the novelty of it, but whatever else is involved feels like a little too questionable for me, you know? So, like I said, let me know what you think. I'll toss up links here on the screen. One will be to my newest lore video I released yesterday. One will be to that welcome booster that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Thanks for coming by, my friends. Glad to see you here, and I will get back together with all of you tomorrow.